Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel and to another episode of our server-side Swift using Vapor CRUD series. In this episode, we're going to implement a beautiful UI. As you can see, we have a gradient in the background, we have a table, a better input field, and what we left off last time is this rudimentary but functioning UI. So let's dive right into it. And the first thing I want to do is actually write the only two lines of CSS we are going to write in this episode. The first one is adding to our HTML an inline style of height 100%. And the second one is for our body, the gradient, which is going to be background, linear gradient, and you can just pause for a second and type off if you want these color codes. Now when we refresh our page, we already have our beautiful background. The next thing I want to do is I want to go to Get Bootstrap, scroll down to CSS only, Bootstrap CDN, and copy that whole thing into our head of our base leaf template file, right? Once we copy that one in, we get all the Bootstrap classes and also default CSS implementations for our website. And if we refresh, we already see that the default HTML tags got restyled from Bootstrap. From here on, we can go to our list and actually beautify our input field first. And I like to go to Bootstrap again and to the documentation, to the components, and then once again open up the menu and go to input groups, because in here you can see that there are text input fields with something sticked next to it. And I like to have on the right side a button sticked next to our input field. And so let's go down here and see the code. This code is related to the add sign, and this code is related to the add example. So this is the code we are looking for. We are going to copy that, put that inside our form, and then adjust it to our needs. So this is the input field, right? All we need is actually just the class form control for the styling of the input field, and we can remove that input field from Bootstrap. Put the class into our input field and put that one in place. Now we have another div that says input group append, and whatever we are putting inside here is going to be appended to next to our input field. And what we want is our button. So I want to put that inside here, and we can then go to our website again and refresh, and we see already we have a more beautiful input field with a button next to it. And we can go even one step further and style our button by applying a button class. Now it's transparent, but it changed its style, and I want to apply a color. So button primary is going to be blue, and you can check out the colors of Bootstrap in the documentation: primary, secondary, success, warning. Even warning is going to be yellow, right? So you can easily switch colors like that for buttons. So that's for the input field, but you see that we don't have margins or space between our browser window and our content, and we can fix that as well by using a div and a class called container. And inside our div is going to be our content, right? So the div is what's wrapping our whole content, and what we gain from that is two things. Oh, I forgot the closing tag sign character. We gain two things. One is whenever we're resizing the window, the container width is going to change as well. And when we are reaching a small point of width of our browser, it will maintain the same width, but with a little margin. So that's just fixing our issue with the spacing, and it already starts looking nicer. For the list of our ideas, I want to use a table. So just use the basic HTML table tag, and inside a table we have a t-body, right? And closing that t-body as well. I forgot about closing the table down here, and indenting it correctly. And inside the t-body I want to have rows, and for each row one column, right? So we want to have, for each idea we want to have a row with one column with the idea. So let's just get that, delete the p tag, closing the column, and also closing the row. and refreshing. We won't see a lot of things changing, but this will be different when we apply some classes. For example, the table class from Bootstrap, refresh, we already get lines, and then we want to have table bordered applied too. Now we get the table in its whole to be bordered, and then we want to apply background white, also a Bootstrap class that makes it simple to apply background colors. And we can do the last step by adjusting the idea machine header, and I like to make that one actually text white, so a white color for the font. So the text is white, and I want to have it centered, so text center. And I want a little spacing above and underneath, and I can use the padding class, padding, and then 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how much padding I want. And 3, I think, is a good amount of space underneath and above. You can also specify just above, so padding top or padding bottom, right? If I would just go for that, we only have padding bottom, just so you know. And that's it. That's it for this episode. We have reached that we have a beautiful UI, and from here on we can start implementing, for example, updating or deleting our ideas in the future episode with an already beautiful UI. If you've learned at least one thing from this episode, you can help me out by hitting like if you don't want to miss out on future episodes. Make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the description box for my Patreon and also for my social media links. Leave a comment if you have something in mind regarding feedback or topic suggestions. Other than that, I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.